Good morning, trading world. It is August 15th, 2022, and this is my pre-market outlook and technical analysis for day trading the SPY. It is 7:43 a.m. on the East Coast. Now, the bulls are back in town, but are they really? Let's take a look at the most telling indicator, volume. We're going to start today on a 1-year daily chart. And we're going to throw up a volume average to really get a handle on what's going on. Volume tells us we've been trading at or below the average volume for quite some time. All the way back here, we peaked above it back on the 16th of June. And maybe again on the 30th of June. But since then, we've been trading at or below average. So the market is going higher on below average volume. That should really tell you something. Now, I'm going to do something I normally don't do. Let's dive into option statistics. All right. Since Friday on the SPY, we have 40% of options traded on the call side. Compared to 48% hold up. Give me just a second. Okay. All right. Since Friday, we've had 40% of options traded on the call side as compared to 48% on the put side. But the more important percent to look at is the percentage traded between the markets. So we see that 40 to 48%, let's just look at the totals. 45% and 44% respectively have traded at or around the bid or at or around the ask, while only 10% have traded between the market. This doesn't really tell me the bulls are back, but what it does tell me is that retail is back and professionals have disappeared. Most retail traders don't trade between the market. They use mostly market orders, as shown by the total of 89% here, the 45 plus the 44%. That's mostly retail. If anything, to me it looks like the bulls are being led to slaughter. I was not sure that momentum was completely over, but I know we broke the major channel way too fast and we were way overbought on the 4 hours. So that was enough for me to want to test the waters with a couple of 17 August 22 428 puts at Friday's close. By doing this, I'm not saying all the upward momentum is gone, but that I wanted to take advantage of a possible pullback. And like I said, I'm not completely sure that all the momentum is gone. So at the low of today, or when I see a low on internals, I'm probably going to roll those puts further out to lock in profits. I'm going to roll them down and out to lock in profits, and then keep them on the books, and maybe continue to roll them a little more on some spikes down, because I do expect some washouts back toward that 411 at some point. And speaking of that 411, the weekly chart is still the chart in control, and it hasn't reached a level of overbought in which I'm ready to hold a swing short through and through. The outlook for the entire week is bearish, closing below the 427.1 with a possible retracement of around 411. So that's the weekly. Now let's get to the key levels of today. All right, here we are back with the key levels of the day. Starting on the resistance side, we have Jack resistance at the 425 to the 426 area. Queen resistance, we have 427 to the 428 area. And then King resistance, 429 to the 433 area. On the support side, we have our Jack support at 424 to the 423 area. And then Queen support, which I think will be very important today, is 422 to the 421 area. Our King support is going to be 420 to 417 area. The main thesis for today is bearish, closing below the 427.1 with a projected target low of between 425 and 422. The alternate thesis is bullish, closing above the 427.1 with a projected target high of between 427 and 434. The current major channel we are in is 416 to 425. The next channel above is 425 all the way up to 453. Let's bring up the scenarios of the day. And here we go with our first scenario of the day, and most probable. Our trend day down, day type structure. We open gap down and start with a pop back toward the previous close represented by the blue line. We find resistance on or before that previous close, then begin the downtrend for the morning. We find midday chop around either the possible Queen or King support. What's going to be interesting later today, coming into the second half of the day, we usually get a head fake looking like we would continue the primary trend of the morning, and then a kind of pop that usually takes us into the close. It's going to be interesting to see how big of a pop we get. And if we get a pop that takes us anywhere back up toward that 425 area, we could expect a little more upward momentum at some point this week. So that's our first scenario, trend day down, day type structure. Let's bring up the next one. All right, here we have our second scenario, which is our rounded reversal day type structure. We could get a continued push lower toward the jack or queen support area and find midday chop around either the queen or king support before spending the same energy we use going down to go back up the second half of the day. There's often a vice versa alert or warning on the rounded reversal day type structure, and if that plays out, it would look like this. We would start off with a continued push higher toward the jack or queen resistance. Find our midday chop either around that or possibly around that queen resistance level, and then we would fade the second half of the day with the same intensity that we pushed higher in the morning. So that's the vice versa alert for the rounded reversal day type structure. All right, and our last scenario is our expanded range day structure. We could look to set a decision area low boundary around the jack or queen support area before starting to chop higher, and then a possible rally later in the day. So that's our expanded range day structure. And when we say range day, it usually means that we cross the previous close at some point. We have a close below it and a close above it at some point during the day. So those are the three scenarios that I'll be preparing for today. I kind of expect us to hit around that 422 area. That may be a possible low for the day, somewhere around there. Like I said, I'll be looking to roll at least half of the position that I took on Friday to lock in profits, and continue from there and see how far back we make it up, and see if we can break back above that 425, because that 425, that major channel area right there, I'll have a sharp eye on, looking to see whether I want to get short again around that level or wait. And we'll see how that plays out. As always, your most important job as a trader is to protect the capital that you already have, and we do that by knowing and understanding the risk that you have on in each position and managing it accordingly to your account size. So I will close today's pre-market out, as always, wishing you a positive trading day, hoping you have a great one.